Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News. And if you're watching this video, please remember to like the video and also make sure you are still subscribed. I wanted to bring you a couple of different things in this video. So the other day, Democrats did pretty well. Excuse me. In the face of a lot of campaigning by Trump, he's going down, guys, and it's, it doesn't have to do with the impeachment thing. It doesn't, it has to just, he is an unsavory character in general, and I think people are, excuse me, fairly tired of his bullshit, for lack of a better word, but shenanigans, whatever you want to say. But also his policies are hurting people, and that's really... if you want to know why Trump was elected, it's because, Obama basically reversed course on a lot of the things that he promised when he was first elected. He was beholden to the banks, to the healthcare industry, to the powers that be, to the military industrial complex, and people want to call it all kinds of other things, call Trump winning all kinds of other stuff. Basically, what it really came down to was people's disillusionment with the Obama administration and with the Democratic establishment. And now people are disillusioned with Trump, rightly so, as they should be. He's, beyond his personality, his policies and the things that he's doing to people's lives on the ground is, it's not good. It's not a positive. They keep wanting to talk about jobs and the economy, but that's mainly something that's propping up people that are already well off. There are a lot of people especially in the middle of the country that are struggling, and that this is where, Bernie Sanders comes in. On that note, when we're talking about Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary race, today just announced that Michael Bloomberg looks like he's going to be entering the primary, which is ridiculous. But to get back to Bernie Sanders, he's the most popular politician in the country, and he's the most popular politician not because of he himself is popular. It's his policies. It's the things that he brings to the table that are popular. And don't let anybody tell you different. The mainstream media and, the Republicans are going to, cry all day long about, these radical lefties. And it's not the radical lefties. It's the people in the middle of the country, the people who would benefit. It's regular ass people. It's working class middle Americans that will benefit from his policies and which will make Bernie Sanders win ultimately. The Democratic establishment is going to run all the billionaires that, Bernie Sanders, when the race first started, Bernie Sanders was way out in the lead, clearly in the lead. And then they're like, let's put in Joe Biden. Cause he's real popular. And, for now that's been kind of working, but that's not going to work he's about to go down. He's about to sink like a stone mightily. So he's not going to last. They put in Warren. Here we'll put in somebody who sounds just like Bernie Sanders and is a woman and, will make everybody feel, soft and cuddly about being a progressive. But it's soon to be unveiled that she is not, not the person that she says she is. And she's already been caught several times kind of making up things about, either her ancestry or about things that happened to her in the past. And it's just like, she's a politician. And Bernie Sanders is not your typical politician, whereas he's authentic. He's an authentic human being. And when he talks about his policies, it's things that he's believed for 40 years. He hasn't deviated. He's not a perfect person. There are some things that I wish he was better on, but he hasn't deviated from his message. And that ability to speak the truth and to be authentic as a politician is what is going to endear him to, everyone. and I believe is what is going to make him win. He's going to win. It's again, I'm going to just put this out there. Let's be ultra vigilant. Anybody who's concerned about Bernie Sanders' welfare or the progress of his campaign, because when he starts winning and the Democratic Party really starts freaking out, the establishment really starts freaking out, then what happens? I'm actually not looking forward to seeing what kind of bullshit they're going to throw up, or, who knows what kind of things that they're going to try to employ in order to derail him, but they will. They're trying now, and they're going to continue to try. And when he starts winning, they're going to go full ham. Lastly, in this video, Tulsi Gabbard has just been smeared and maligned. She can't get away from it, and because she's a truth teller. And she just keeps on. She just gets, the more that she gets maligned, the more that she is smeared, the more radical of a truth teller she becomes, and she just is willing to lay it all out there. But this is a bizarre kind of thing that's happening with her that nobody is covering. Why? Because it has something to do with 9/11, and 9/11 is a political third rail, and even progressive channels don't really want to talk about 9/11. They want to stay as far away from 9/11 as possible, and I get it, because they want to maintain credibility in the public record or public account of news. But I would urge other progressive channels. And it's the same as climate change. Climate change is a political third rail too, because yeah, we all know it's happening, and we all agree something needs to be done, but you really can't get that deep into it because A, it's a ratings killer. And B, it's a bummer. B stands for bummer. C, people really don't want to own up to the reality of it, and it's very, once you start getting deep into it, then people start going like, I don't know. This is why they won't ask questions about it on debate stages, and it's very, very little is said about climate change, even though again it should be the number one topic in these debates and in this race. But in the future of, because it's the number one topic for the future of humanity, and nobody's really willing to acknowledge that yet. And but soon enough, hopefully before 2020, so we can have somebody in office that's willing to deal with it on a realistic level, some kind of realistic level. But in a couple of years, it's going to be really, really evident that it's the number one issue when things start turning really sour. So let me get back to this story with Tulsi. So she demands the release of documents related to Saudi Arabia's involvement in the 9/11 attacks. So I'm not even going to really go way out into the what or the who's or the hows of the 9/11, but we're dealing with the public record right here. And this is wild, though, because let's just go all the way back to September 23rd, 2001, right after the 9/11 attacks. BBC released this story. Hijack suspects alive and well. Another of the men named by the FBI as a hijacker in the suicide attacks on Washington and New York has turned up alive and well. The identities of 4 of the 19 suspects accused of having carried out the attacks are now in doubt. Saudi Arabian pilot Walid al-Shari was one of the 5 men that the FBI said had deliberately crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into World Trade Center on September 11th. His photograph was released and has since appeared in newspapers and on television around the world. Now he is protesting his innocence from Casablanca, Morocco. Hey, I'm not dead. I didn't hijack the plane. And this is wild. This is a wild story. And, there's some, official propaganda out there trying to say that this was bullshit and all the hijackers were confirmed dead. No. But here's another interesting thing. This is from Wikipedia. 15 of the 19 hijackers were citizens of Saudi Arabia. That's not fishy at all. That's not weird at all. And then yet we went and attacked Afghanistan. We attacked Iraq. We attacked everybody. But we didn't, we didn't really want to talk about the fact that Saudi Arabia, our close buddies and allies, that 15 of the hijackers were citizens of Saudi Arabia. This is wild stuff that's going on kind of under the scenes. And I'm just going to, where did it go? I'm going to follow up with this. If anybody remembers from just a few years ago in 2016, Saudi Arabia warns of economic fallout if Congress passes 9/11 bill. Saudi Arabia has told the Obama administration and members of Congress that it will sell off hundreds of billions of dollars worth of American assets held by the kingdom if Congress passes a bill that would allow the Saudi government to be held responsible in American courts for any role in the September 11th, 2001 attacks. So there was, I don't know if you all remember this, there was a bill floating around in Congress. They were trying to release these documents and release some information. And this is what Tulsi Gabbard is talking about. This is just the thing that she's trying to get at the heart of. The Obama administration lobbied Congress to block the bill's passage. The officials have warned senators of diplomatic and economic fallout from the legislation. What else happened in here? Hold on. The administration, which argues that the legislation would put Americans at legal risk overseas, likely excuse, safety, guys, has been lobbying so intently against the bill that some lawmakers and families of some September 11th victims are infuriated. In their view, the Obama administration has consistently sided with the kingdom and has thwarted their efforts to learn what they believe to be the truth about the role some Saudi officials played in the terrorist plot. This is from the public record. This is in the New York Times. It's stunning to think that our government would back the Saudis over its own citizens, said Mindy Kleinberg, whose husband died in the World Trade Center on September 11th and who is part of a group of victims' families. Members pushing for the legislation. So whether you think that 9/11 was, whatever you think about what 9/11 was, this is publicly, stated or admitted or introduced into Congress that Saudi Arabia had a role, and the Obama administration squashed that effort, that push to get at the heart of this information. Tulsi Gabbard is trying to get this released, and it's of course causing heads to explode because here's the smearing from Huffington Post, establishment rag that it is. Tulsi Gabbard floats 9/11 conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy. 15 of the 19 hijackers stated on Wikipedia are Saudi Arabian citizens, or are or were. And if you go deeper into the information, there are people that have talked about this. That many of them were actually alive and kicking. Afterward, they were like, "Hey, we're one of them I think was a pilot, working pilot. And he was like, in Saudi Arabia, he was like, I wasn't one of the hijackers guys." They couldn't get their story straight. Another example of the Bush administration not getting their story straight around 9/11. But a new campaign email from the Hawaii representative dovetails with her past conspiracy theories and fear-mongering. She just wants the truth around 9/11 and, who and what were responsible for something that ultimately led to the death and destruction of millions of people, and ultimately also led to a lot of economic woes, not just in the Middle East, but you could argue that it led to economic woes here in the States, and led to a lot of waste of money that could be helping American citizens. This is crazy and also awesome at the same time. But Anyways, I'm going to link all this stuff below. Wild times. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.